Mama, welcome to the Mrs. Mummy PhD podcast. I am your host, Dr. Michelle Gibbs, and this podcast exists to help scholarly mamas like you to achieve your life and academic goals without sacrificing what matters most. Here, we're changing the overwhelm, juggle, struggle narrative around what it means to be a mama on an academic journey to one of empowerment, fulfillment, and purposeful success. So how do we successfully navigate these journeys? Well, first, we need the space to embrace this unique blend. Let's begin by saying yes to creating a life that feels as good on the inside as it looks on the outside, because that's when we truly become purposefully whole. So get ready for the most non-traditional, unconventional, and revolutionary approach to PhD motherhood, because one thing I have learned over my many years of experience on this journey is that if you want something different, you have to do something different. But you must be brave enough to think differently first. So, Mama, are you in? Fabulous! Let's begin. These are our journeys of becoming. Hey, Mama. Welcome back to the podcast. I've been thinking a lot about failure and the fact that we so need to normalize this. I had a conversation last week with a colleague who's very senior and very experienced, and she's professor level. This is in the UK, of course. And she was talking about her failure. She was talking about failed grant applications, and we both felt so seen in that conversation that I thought it'd be really fitting to share a replay where I talk all about when your best doesn't feel good enough. And so without further ado, let's dive into this reflective replay. We regret to inform you. Those 5 words that make you question every life choice that led to this moment. That rejection email from your Target journal, you know the one. You're scanning it at 3 a.m. between baby feeds and your stomach drops. We regret to inform you. Maybe it wasn't a journal rejection. Maybe it was that fellowship that you were perfect for, that job opportunity that suited you perfectly, or that promotion at work you didn't get. Or maybe it was that conference presentation where your mind just went blank, or that viva experience where your examiner's questions left you feeling like an imposter who somehow fooled everyone until now. Here is the truth bomb. While your toddler, your little amazing little person, is proudly showing off their scribbles as masterpieces, so much that you have put that brilliant artwork on the fridge, those beautifully imperfect crayon drawings or pencil, after all, doodle dozen. If you know, you know. And if you don't, check out episode 22 of this podcast. Anyway, back to the doodles, those beautifully imperfect drawings. And you smiled at how they poured their entire heart into that little piece of artwork without worrying if it's good enough or if it could be better. And yet, here we are, brilliant mamas pursuing PhDs or having pursued a PhD in the past, beating ourselves up because our latest manuscript came back with major revisions, or that conference presentation didn't go well, or you didn't get the job. Maybe you had this amazing vision for something brand new. You thought other people saw the potential in it, and perhaps they didn't. You didn't get the opportunity to bring that vision to life. Today, we're going to talk about something that's probably keeping you up at night, alongside the thesis deadlines and, the little one's sleep regressions. It's that crushing feeling when your best doesn't feel good enough. You know the one, that pit that forms in your stomach when you read the reviewer comments or you replay that less than stellar performance in the last supervisor meeting. You play that over and over in your head. So going back to those proud scribbles that you placed on the fridge, that you thought was a masterpiece by your toddler or your little one. That's you, right? But this is also you, the mama who's sitting and wondering whether you're cut out for all of this. The same woman who can negotiate with that 3-year-old about eating vegetables is somehow feeling completely derailed by an academic setback. You see, today's episode is for every scholarly mama who's ever smiled through a school pickup, having just received and read that dreaded rejection email or received the dreaded rejection phone call. For every one of us who's ever wondered if this is my best and my best isn't good enough, then what? Well, here's a spoiler alert. We're about to flip this whole not good enough script right on its head. We are diving deep into what it really means to be a work in progress and why that's not just okay, but it's exactly where you're supposed to be. Hey, mama. Welcome back to the podcast. Thank you for being here. If this is your first time, this is how we get down on this podcast. So welcome. Thank you for being here. If you love what you hear, please do leave a kind review at the end of the show. And yeah, this is what we're going to be talking about today. And I've chosen this topic specifically because as scholarly mamas, this is something that we face quite a lot. This is something that we deal with quite often on our journey of scholarly motherhood. We often have to deal with quote unquote failure. We have to deal with rejection. We have to deal with disappointing outcomes. You know, we have big dreams, we have big goals, we're ambitious mamas. And yet, there are times that we can miss the mark. There are times that we are not chosen. There are times where we are overlooked for the opportunity. And it's really hard when you have worked so incredibly hard towards that goal, or you are so incredibly qualified or experienced and deserving of the opportunity to shine, to, show others what you're capable of. You don't get it. And so before I get into talking about all the thoughts that these recent events have triggered and have stirred up for me as a scholarly mama, for me as an ambitious woman, for me as somebody who's got big goals and big dreams, I want to share with you a post I shared on Instagram last week, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it. So let me share this post with you. And if you are not following me on Instagram, please do head over to Instagram. I am at Mrs. Mummy PhD. Follow me, DM me, let's have a chat. I love connecting with scholarly mamas. It's what I am all about, and I'd love to hear from you. So let me share this post that I shared on my Instagram last week, and I entitled it, very similar to the title of this episode, What to Do When Your Best Doesn't Quite Feel Good Enough. Okay, so here's the post. As much as you've seen me show up here to encourage and inspire mamas on PhD journeys, and as much as I've had loads to celebrate on my scholarly mama journey, I've also dealt with a great deal of rejection since finishing my PhD last year. Opportunities that I worked hard for and for which I am very well qualified, only to receive that dreaded rejection letter, email, or phone call. Not too dissimilar from what we've all witnessed elsewhere this week. When we don't achieve the outcome we desire, it's tempting to fall into the mindset trap that your vision wasn't good enough, or worse, that you're not good enough, especially when you've worked so hard to get where you are and are so deserving of success. It's so tempting to feel like you're a failure despite overwhelming evidence of the opposite, especially when you can't make sense of what's happened. Hard frustrating, heavy, unfair, disappointing, confusing, sad. Yes, we can call these feelings out because failure can feel like all of them at first. But what if we could transform failure into a new yet goal? What if you can still hold on to the dream by normalizing being in progress toward it? What if it simply wasn't the time for the big win that you hoped for? What if your success was hidden in the little wins? What if this was not even failure anyway, but an opportunity to grow, to learn, to come back stronger next time? What if, despite the disappointing outcome, you were still enough? Mama, I know you begin to question your worth when you can't see the visible wins. I know you begin to question the value you offer when it feels like you're invisible. I know you begin to question your ability when you aren't allowed to show what you are truly capable of. But remember this, Mama. Your worth was never based on these things. You have a greater purpose here. And where there's purpose, there is hope. So keep shining like the scholarly mama you are. You are enough. You always were and always will be enough. And the caption says, to the scholarly mama facing rejection or failure, to the scholarly mama who has big dreams but is struggling to believe she can achieve them while juggling everything else. To the scholarly mama who needs this reminder, this week especially, take whatever time you need to process the disappointment, but don't you give up on yourself. You are enough. You've always been and always will be enough. You have a purpose here. The journey of scholarly motherhood isn't easy, but it doesn't have to be perfect to be purposeful. Your impact won't go unnoticed. Your efforts will never be in vain. Keep going. Little eyes and little hearts are looking up to you. If you want to hear more about transforming failure into growth opportunities, tune in to episode 85, which is last week's episode, and episode 42 of the Mrs. Mummy PhD podcast. And if you're looking for a space to connect with other purposeful scholarly mamas who get this roller coaster journey, come join us in Scholarly Mamas. These are your journeys of becoming. And so that's the post that I shared last week on my Instagram page. And that came after a tough week for me. In my own life, I also received another rejection last week. And like I said in the post, it's so hard when you know that you are well qualified for this particular opportunity. You know, you've given it so much thought. You've, outlined the vision you've got for whatever it is that you're working on. And you get really good feedback. That's the whole thing. You get really good feedback. And yet, you are not given the opportunity. That is hard. I have dealt with it so many times, more times than I care to mention in the past year. Rejection after rejection after rejection of all kinds. And yet, that lovely 3-letter word, and yet, I will not give up hope. I will never give up hope because purpose is greater than prestige. Purpose is greater than this disappointment. Purpose is greater than all of this. And the good news is you don't have to be perfect to be purposeful. So it's not about getting everything perfectly right, aligning the stars perfectly for this opportunity. No, you are human. You are purposeful. You are well deserving. And if other people cannot see the light within you, if other people cannot see it enough to give you the opportunity to shine brightly. And by the way, that opportunity could be whatever. You fill in the blanks, right? But if they can't see your light, keep shining anyway. But don't you give up on yourself. I've had my fair share, as I said, of rejections, and it hurts for a minute. It hurts for a minute. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. It hurts for a minute. If you've worked hard towards something, of course you want it to be a success. Otherwise, you would not have worked so hard toward it. But when you see the accomplishment of that particular outcome as the only way, then of course it will hurt deeply and it will hurt for a much longer time. But when you see that as an opportunity to move on, to take your brilliance elsewhere, to prepare for the next opportunity, to develop skills, identify gaps, identify and reflect on, why did you not receive that opportunity? Why wasn't it granted to you? How can you improve? How can you do things differently? Sometimes it's not even about improving, but sometimes it's about doing things differently, maybe changing focus. How can you lift yourself up from that disappointment and move forward with purpose? We all will face rejection, failure, disappointment on our journeys as scholarly mamas, and it comes in different forms. Maybe it's a grant application that you've been rejected for. Maybe it's been a research paper, a manuscript that's been rejected. Maybe it's a job opportunity that you didn't get. Maybe it's a promotion that you weren't considered for. Maybe it's an opportunity to do something different. Maybe the possibilities are endless. Maybe you didn't pass your viva. Maybe you didn't meet a deadline. You didn't meet a milestone. Maybe things aren't progressing as fast as you want them to. Maybe you're comparing yourself to other people who don't have the responsibilities that you have. Failure, and I put that in quotes, comes in so many different forms on this journey of scholarly motherhood, right? It does. But failure does not have to be absolute. Not reaching a goal does not mean you never will. If you listen to last week's episode, I talk about the power of yet. Make sure you tune into that episode. This is an opportunity to grow. This is an opportunity to shine. This is an opportunity to become. There's a reason why I have always talked about journeys of becoming. For two reasons. There's the journey part, focusing on the journeys. There's finding joy in the various journeys that you're on. There's blending those various journeys together. There's all the lessons that come up on these various journeys that we're on as scholarly mamas. But there's also the becoming part. That's the growth. That's the growth opportunity right there. For you to see this as not just a journey or multiple journeys to be celebrated and enjoyed, but also there are journeys of becoming. There are journeys where you are transforming your life in some way or the other. Focus on the transformation, not just the outcome, but the journey of that transformation, the journeys of becoming. There's not much more to say in this episode. I don't want it to be a heavy, long episode. I really just wanted to offer a word of encouragement. If you are facing rejection this week, if you are starting to doubt whether you deserve to be where you are, Mama, I want to remind you that you are exactly where you are for a purpose. And where there's purpose, there's hope. Where there's purpose, there's yet, right? I talked about yet goals in last week's episode. Just because you haven't achieved something or you haven't achieved the outcome doesn't mean you never will. If you are feeling not enough, if you are feeling like, oh my goodness, I am so alone, I'm so isolated on this journey, come join us in Scholarly Mamas. We are building a community there, right? We're building a community for mamas who understand what this roller coaster journey of scholarly motherhood is like. And we want you to be a part of it because no scholarly mama should have to navigate this journey alone. It's too hard. I get it. I've been there. I've been in the depths, in the throes, in the trenches of scholarly motherhood. And this is what I wish I had. I wish I had a community where I could connect with other mamas who understood it's okay to be ambitious and still enjoy my family life. It's okay to want to achieve big goals, but also want to prioritize self-care. These aren't mutually exclusive things. Anyway, I really hope that you can take something useful away from this. I know it's been a lot. And if you need that extra support, make sure you seek it. There's nothing wrong with seeking help if you need that. If the weight of all that's been happening has been a lot, seek the support that you need. Reach out to your university counseling service if that's a possibility for you. Get some help, get some support. There are therapists you can reach out to. There are organizations that you can reach out to in your local area. Make sure you seek the help you need to help you process everything that's happening and its impact on you. But until next time, mama, stay well. Look after yourself. Look after each other. And if no one else is, please know that I am rooting for you. I am your biggest cheerleader. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love and gratitude. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to the Mrs. Mummy PhD podcast. I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and if you did and you want in on this movement, please head over to mrsmummyphd.com or scholarlymamas.com. If you want to do your PhD well without sacrificing yourself or those you love dearest, then you need your hands on my free training called the PhD with Purpose Maminar. When you join us inside Scholarly Mamas Explore, you'll get access to this free training and so much more. Remember, mama, these are our journeys of becoming.